presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Let's go to our man Al in Homosassa. What's going on, brother?
Isn't it wonderful? I went ahead and invested in your Tiger dollars, and I went ahead and got the gold report for a year, and also your call letter and stuff like that. And I got over a 50% return in one day, not counting everything else. But I just want to thank you. Tom's not perfect, but he tells you how to put your stops in, and he keeps your losses small. You can take your small losses, but then all of a sudden you'll be like Babe Ruth, and you'll hit a home run. I mean, a big home run.
Yeah.
And put the money in your pocket.
Okay, brother. You're awesome, man. Thank you.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
Hi, everyone. This is Basil Chapman sitting in for the one and only Tom O'Brien, taking a break, and we're looking at the Dow. Down 140 at 35,003. It was way worse earlier on. In fact, this morning it hit 34,878. It's trading right now 35,003. Not a great candle, but we'll see what happens by the close. We'll talk about it. We've got a lot. We've got earnings. We've got Apple. I mean, look at this. Apple coming out with earnings today. I think something like, usually it's about 20 past 4, 4:30, somewhere around there. Makes 150, excuse me, 150.00, round number all-time high on the, was it the 14th? On the 15th of July, pulls back to the 14-period moving average, the black line there, rallies up and just fails to get, it goes to 149.83, misses what, by 17 cents, taking out that high, and we got earnings today. So let me explain a couple of things that we're looking at. In the Chapman wave, we try to identify the lowest low bar and then merely count each successively higher peak, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 7 peaks higher. But it's at that fourth peak, peak D, that other things can happen. What does that imply? That implies that within the context of higher highs and higher lows, it doesn't always have to be higher lows, but it cannot take out the starting point. There are 4 higher peaks. Well, look at this. We went in Apple to a peak E, pulls back, and it's now digesting the gains. But there was a peak D at 145.09 back in March, and it pulled back sharply. It ran up again. This I'm calling a peak C, but it's so close. It's like a peak C1, C2. So there could be a slight pop to the upside, and there may be a digestive phase. The monthly chart is still strong. So we'll see what happens. Just make it real simple. A close above the round number 150 would be very important. It would be a good sign. And a slide quickly below 144 says, oh, you got to be careful because it's going to be in a rectangle formation, making the 141 area really important support. Let's go back to our numbers here. When you're looking at the Dow, we went to a peak E and we've made this V-shaped recovery. Now, the patterns that I always look at, and I'll be doing my second part of my webinar tomorrow, the 2-hour session, 10 o'clock till 12 till noon. That's 2 hours live. Tomorrow, as part of the 2-day, the one was 6.5 hours all day. This one is shorter, but what I had over the last 2 weeks, people had sent me requests. They showed me charts. I sent back information. I've discussed it. I've even done on my show some of the questions that they had. They were general questions about the Chapman wave methodology. And tomorrow we put the whole thing together, and we'll be going live. Let me just show you this here. The V-shaped formation has 2 patterns. One is this very large arch. If there is a failure and the Dow closes under 34,600 anytime in the next 3-4 days, in other words, in July, then you've got to consider that the rectangle formation in the weekly chart says you're going back into the middle. The 34,300s could even be hit. But if I don't care what the reason is, if there is a spiral into the 35,250 or 35,300 area, that says there's no other way to count it. I'm thinking that's a leg B, and we should go higher for at least another 3 to 6 sessions, trading sessions, that is. And then I think you've got to be careful. That's the way I'm looking at it. This is the Dow. We actually added a little position today, back again, that we took off recently. We've been long since March of last year, 2020, March the 23rd, the low of that low We went long, and we've been long. We've taken little bits off. Now, what we're looking at is in the S&P. This is slightly different. There is, after a peak G, there is no H in the Chapman wave methodology. So that means there's either a recycle. So this is either a C or a brand new A. So brand new A implies that even with this, the terrible sell-off that really started in China, especially with the tech sector, and today just ripped apart some of those tech stocks, this is going to be an important moment for a couple of reasons. One is that if there is a new high, you've got this Chapman wave inside track, and I'll be discussing this again in great detail in my webinar tomorrow. Let me just show you. And that takes you all the way. It's actually quite high. That takes you to the 44.40 to 44.46 area before it becomes resistance again. Wow, if there's a move up in this environment, that's going to be spectacular. But if we take out today's low of 43.72, we don't even have to do that. If we get in for an hour and a half, if we're trading below 43.83 anytime tomorrow, there's a good chance we're going to test the low of today. But I was talking about this in the update, that volatility index screaming to the 20.44 level is now at 19.08. So quickly after an all-time high is made, just says you've got to be a little careful that some of the selling is external. That is, it's yes, obviously it's there. There's nothing external about a price that goes from whatever it does and drops, sharply. But what I am saying is that sometimes other factors kick in, and those other factors kind of become immediate. They become ephemeral. That is, they are not really part of the structure that's going on. It's more an emotional response. I don't want to see this turn into something else, and I'll explain why. Because the QQQ had a tremendous decline. And this pattern with the V-shaped pattern I was talking about in the Dow, this one and the S&P went much higher than the left side high of 365.49. So for me, it's kind of simple. If there's no high above 368.89, the high of yesterday, in the next few days, but instead we take out at any point in the next 3 days or 4 days, we take out today's low of 360.16. That says you've got to be careful. The MACD is deflected lower. The stochastic is still very strong at 89%. On-balance volume is good, has pulled back. Relative strength is not bad, it has pulled back. But the 9-period over the 14-period moving average says there is still internal strength. And that internal strength has to be a feature of price. So if price starts to pull back, it'll start to diminish the strength of the technicals. So we're watching this closely, because if at any point by this coming Monday, the beginning of August trading month, if there is a close below 359, this becomes at least a short-term top. The monthly has gone to leg D. You remember what I said? At D, other things can happen. Let me just show you something really important right now while I'm talking about it. Look, the E-mini made a peak D. I was on the show this morning. I did my show 8 to 9 this morning because I couldn't do it at 10 to 11 because I was doing this show. It made a peak D as we were talking about this. And look at that peak D. It went all the way to a second trough D, and now it's in leg C to the upside. These can be quite significant. I'll be back in a moment. Basil Chapman for Tom O'Brien. Dow's on 143. I'll be right back.
Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today, and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Basil, Chapman sitting for Tom O'Brien, and I told you about those fourth highest peaks, but we call peak D. Look at this in the 2-minute chart. Make a low round about 1220-ish. It goes peak A, peak C, D, makes that arch formation, a pattern that I talk about very often. Let me see if I can find one here. That'll be at least a good example to show you. Nope, it's not that. It's this right here. Yeah, look. So in this pattern here, what happens on the left side after coming down and then making the arch formation, we call it the lowercase h, what happens when it tests that left side low? Does it start a brand new buy mode, or does it go much deeper down? Does it go 1-to-1 to the downside? Or does it try to creep back and then start a new buy mode? Well, look at this. You go for the peak D, it pulls back, dreaded H, it pulls back, and then it makes this tiny little doji candle. A really good sign to say it's either a continuation pattern or a reversal pattern. You get all the technicals of the stochastic, the unbalanced volume, the relative strength. The MACD all start turning around and goes where? Peak A, peak C, makes the H pattern and holds beautifully and continues to D. And all of a sudden you see this line here. Look, you don't need the line. What is that line? It means nothing because you're down here. All of a sudden, as you're getting closer to this thick line, you say, hey, the closer you get, the more important it becomes. Then it becomes a magnet, and then it becomes a propellant, and then it becomes a support level. Well, look at this. It becomes a repellent, and then a propellant. It goes to another D, another peak D, and now it's holding, and it's right on the line at 43.84. This is the ESU 21. This is the E-mini September contract, 2-minute one, and we're going to watch this closely. And we've got a leg C in the 10-minute chart. It's underneath this strong pink thick line, this moving average. Can it get, if at any point in the next 40 minutes, 45 minutes or 40 minutes, if it can get to 43.90, 150, that 43.90, 475 level becomes a magnet, and it should touch it and maybe even go higher. Otherwise, it's going to become a repellent. That's how we do it. And those are all the techniques that I will, not all, but many of the techniques I'll be discussing tomorrow in my second part of my webinar. So Apple, look at this. Apple, what does it do? It rallies strongly, and then it fails where, in this particular instance, the left side is much stronger in that, what is this, 15th or 17th of the month high at 150 round number. Look, yesterday's high, the MACD was turning down. It deflected lower. Stochastic was still good, but now it's only at 78%. On-balance volume's lower. Relative strength is lower. So you've got weaker technicals. And that says, unless Apple comes out with something fabulous, to be able to clear the 152, 153 level on the open tomorrow, not overnight, but on the open tomorrow, and then hold, that'll be fabulous action. Not only that, it'll give you a leg D, a missing leg D in the weekly chart, but for whatever reason, it could be the chips, it could be anything. If it starts to trade under 143, it says just be careful, because there's that second chance of a dreaded H pattern right there. It succeeded in, let me just show you this right here. It succeeded in this particular one because it ran even higher. So this is going to be very important. Does it continue higher or does it stall? And you've got Google. I like to say Google Alphabet. I don't know how they got Alphabet. There's no way I can count it other than to say, yeah, A, B, C, D. I could make a case for it being D, but I think that I'm going to call it, at least for now, leg C. 2,800.22 is the all-time high that it made this morning. It's pulled back. I think that sudden tsunami of selling that came into the tech sector because of the Chinese stuff. I mean, Baidu and all those, Baba, all those stocks just got smacked. I think that was part of the problem. For instance, we wanted to go long. We went long a stock. We kept missing it in a particular tech stock. And then we got it yesterday on a pullback. The pre-open was high. And I said, no, we're going to wait for the pullback. It got the pullback. It was holding nice. And then all of a sudden this morning it started to weaken. And then we got, instead of, because we had missed it, I said, let's buy a very small portion. And then it's split it. And we got a second small portion this morning. And it was acting really well. It did exactly what we wanted. We were starting to rebound. On average, between the two, we were actually up for a moment. And then the selling came in and just took, I always make the stops really tight. We were stopped out in both positions. I had one stop on both positions. And we're taking out, it's holding okay, but now it says it's going to be a lot more difficult for it to go high. And yet this morning there was every chance that this would have held up long enough to say, hey, there's the chance we can now make higher highs, which is what I was expecting. And it's in an area that I really would have liked to have been in, but we've got tight stops. That's we're out. So Microsoft down 3 at 286.03 is going to have earnings as well. So this is a pattern right now that I would immediately draw in. It's called the Chapman wave, right? Falling axe formation. What does it do? It has lower highs and much lower lows, and then all of a sudden it breaks to the upside. But it is a peak E. Well, at PE, you've got to be a little careful. D, E, and F, you've got to be a little bit careful in this. You've got to recycle, and it's E in the weekly, and there's G/C in the monthly. Microsoft's been an unbelievable leader. Just look at this. In the monthly chart, look at that 9-period moving average. Since it broke above, let me go even further back. Look at this. Actually, let me show you this. This is what I'll be showing tomorrow to the attendees of my webinar, and there's still time. Look at this. If you just use this one technique, this is the 9-period moving average. When it crosses over a slow moving average, it goes green. It is still green for the Dow. Microsoft, look, if Microsoft, I'm embarrassed to say this, but if one had bought using just this technique right there on the day, the month that it went high, this is a monthly chart, back in May of 2000, around about the let's call it 180 level, it is still green. Even here it is green. This is telling you this is still extreme. Look, it went, in fact, from the low that was made back in 2019 in March, somewhere around the 110 area. There were just a few months that it went pink in that very sharp sell-off back in going to the March low of last year, and it's still green. Look at Apple. Same thing. Very strong right now, but it had a couple of very sharp pullbacks, which turned into a sell for about 2 months, and then went back to positive. So far, all of these, look, we've got, what am I looking at? We've got Visa. I think someone said Visa's got earnings today. Look at this. Visa, green, green, green. All of these are very strong on their monthly charts. So what was the other one? Starbucks. Starbucks, look at this. Starbucks, green. This one's been green since August of 2020 at around about 79. And here it is at a little higher, 125. So far, these are all good. But if you look at the chart that I'm going to show you now, this particular chart, Look, yes. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yes, Starbucks, SBUX, and it's in leg D in the monthly. It's 125.90 down 16 cents right now. It's got the spiral single leg up in the weekly chart with the MACD just crossed positive strongly. Stochastic's very good at 87%. This is very good. And look at this high-level consolidation after the peak E and a gap to the upside. So all I can say is that unless earnings are really disappointing, the stocks I just mentioned so far have very good technicals to support any pullback if it's short term. But if it's very bad earnings, then you can see somewhat of a sell-off. That's what it's going to take to have these already pulled back. I'll be back in a moment. Dow's down 130. Basil Chapman sitting for Tom O'Brien.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi folks, Basil Chapman for Tom O'Brien, and we're looking at the Dow down 135. S&P's come back a lot. It's down minus 30, which was way lower earlier. I just wanted to show you, I had a question about the XLU, which is this is the S&P Utility Spider Fund, made a new recovery high in leg C in the daily chart, looking really good. And I can't remember, I'm almost sure that I showed my attendees last 2 weeks ago when we did my first webinar on the 2 webinar series, that this made a peak A. And the way you count it is, I should have made these gray, but this is a gray A underneath it in the weekly chart because it's below the previous one, but way off the starting point, which was down at 58 area, at the 68 area. Then it comes back, and then it pulls back, and then it makes another A and it pulls back, it makes yet another A lower, and yet there's a beautiful trend line. Look at this trend line. It's a trend line that I call the inside track repellent propellant zone. So what I do is this: I change the color. You don't have to. You can use, and you don't even have to use all these fancy things. You just put in 2 trend lines right there, down channel, mini down channel, about 3/16 of an inch. And when it breaks out, that's really important. Well, the XLU just broke out. In the weekly chart, it's now in an official leg B. And I suspect I'm going to be calling it a buy mode. I have to wait for Friday. But if that MACD crosses positive, that's going to be important. The shorter time moving average is above the slow moving average. You've got the stochastic week at 51%. That's got a lot of work to do. But so far, this is good, and it tells you money's flowing into utilities for a good reason. So I just wanted to show that part of the technique. This is a Chapman falling axe formation. That's a pattern that we talk about a lot. And it's this pattern right here. When the price makes a high and then starts to make lower highs and lower lows, much lower lows, and then suddenly forms a support level, can take out the trend line resistance. It can go 1-to-1 to the upside in the same angle, same degree, and also with the same price. And look at this. This is really positive because it says at today's high of 66.97, the previous high becomes a target, and that was the high. Each one becomes a target. We've taken it out. Next one is 67.38. We haven't gone there yet. And then you can go all the way to the 68.05 level, and that's going to be the target. So this is very important. This could become a 1-to-1 if this whole area becomes a support level, and that would help the monthly chart as well to get to a leg D. So I wanted to show you that. The IYT, the Transportation Index, very bad, making lower lows. There's a big divergence between the Dow Industrials, which is really just the Dow 30 now. There's no industrials. But the Dow making all-time highs just yesterday, and the transports making recent lows, multi-week lows. I don't like to see that, but it doesn't mean to say that just because of that the market has to tank. I think this is very selective, and how the earnings come out over the next few days. I think it's Facebook tomorrow. Facebook. Look at this, Facebook peak D. Peak D is where other things can happen. There's your peak C1, C2, and then it goes to a D. How it holds is going to be important, because if Facebook in the next week starts to go below 354 into the gap, below the gap low of the 23rd of July, that's 357.19. Previous day, the high was 351.54. This is a huge gap. If it goes back into the gap, says, oh, be careful, Facebook's going to have a digestive phase. It is a leg D in the weekly chart. So that says, I don't care what happens overnight, that you've got to hear the conference call. What happens tomorrow by 10:30 in the morning is important. If Facebook has a fabulous, whatever it is, and it's trading at 377, up 10 points from here, that is really good action. And if it holds most of that into the close, that's fantastic. If it suddenly, gaps down, that says this is a single leg failure. Be careful. So I'm just showing you some of the techniques based on what we look at and just going through these different areas. So crude oil is trading down just 19 cents. There's a technique. This is that Chapman falling axe formation. This is what I'll be teaching tomorrow. I'll be going through it. We've already done a lot of work on this in the 6.5-hour first session. Tomorrow's 2-hour live session. I'm going to be covering these again. So this time you can go to the front page of TFNN, check it out. You'll be able to do the archive of the first one in your own time, and you'll get tomorrow's important information. So this is the pattern we're looking at, the Chapman falling axe resistance, which becomes, in the techniques that I've developed over the years, a Chapman wave inside track repellent zone. So if it can stop hanging around at lower highs and lower lows and start to trade, if the crude oil is able to trade above 73.35 by Thursday or Friday, all of a sudden you've turned this whole 70 area into support. Right now, it really has the pattern. It's a fighting pattern between the dreaded H right here, which can roll over, or the breakout pattern by going above the falling axe. We'll see if that can happen. TLT, balancing after a huge red candle, leg D. Those Ds are so important. And that D says, be careful, at 152.72, you've pulled back for bonds, therefore yields. TNX.X. There are yields are pulling back a little bit, but if they start to rally strongly and the 10-year goes above 13.50, that's 1.350, that is going to signal that yields are once more on the rise, and that actually should help the XLF, which has been struggling, the financials. Look, they haven't broken down, but they're kind of stuck in a range here. Look at the thickness of all these green candles in this range between 36 and 36.70. So XLF needs very much to spiral into the 37s by Monday, this coming Monday, close above the 37s, because if it closes below 35.50, that says, yields are probably going to come down, and lower yields are not that great for the financials. So let's go back to our intraday charts here. So we've got the, so I just wanted to show you, this is high-grade copper. We've been discussing this all day. And if, in fact, you use this one particular technique, look at the magnet of this particular thick yellow line or orange line. I don't know how it comes across in your, I'll have a look in a moment to see Tiger YouTube. So yeah, see, it's like a magnet. The price hasn't been able to go above or below. It's just stuck. It's like a sine wave, over and under, over and under, over. So it's stuck here. But look at this. This is really important. In the 120-minute, in the 10-minute chart, what we were looking at is it made a peak C1, C2, C3 all the way into 7 o'clock this morning. It pulls back, makes a gray A, which means it was underneath the previous price. And then it spirals up. And at that point, I was doing my show between 8 and 9. So I said, this is either a D if the stochastic starts to pull back and the MACD turns down, or it's a B if it holds very well and goes to high highs. Well, it was a D. And look at this D. It plunges down to what? This pink line, the thick pink line again. And then it breaks under it. That becomes resistance. Suddenly it's support. And now slightly higher with the other moving averages is holding quite nicely. So high-grade copper made a peak D. And also I teach about this peak C1, C2, C3, what it means and what you can do with it. All right, let's get back to our nitty-gritties. I had a question come in, which was, where was it? Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. Maya Tuan, 194. I don't know what that is. Maya Tuan, what a chart. Yep, that's the weekly chart with the dreaded H, and it's fading. So I don't know where it is. I don't know what it is. So I'm sorry, I can't do anything. So a question came in, could you show the high-grade copper chart itself? Yeah, let's see. This is really good. And I think that this is a sign that maybe things are really not as bad as everyone thinks. So we'll be back in a moment. Basil Chapman sitting in for Tom Brown. Dow's down 151, S&P's down 31. Be right back.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Tom O'Brien.
Hi, folks. So I had a question here about the semiconductors. Yeah, the SMH is down 6.17 at 250.88. Look, I had compared this. I showed this on my show, the Tiger Technicians Hour at 10 a.m. every day. I'd shown that peak that was made back in around about July the 3rd or something? Sorry, June the 3rd. No, June the 30th. That's what it was. June the 30th at 262.49. Look how strong the MACD, the moving average divergence was. Look how strong the stochastic was, on-balance volume, relative strength, 9 over look at this, the green line, the moving average over the black line. This is fantastic action. Pulls back sharply to the 248-ish area, bounces in a V-shaped pattern to 263.86, all-time high on the 14th of July. And then I showed, look how weak the right side was, the technicals, and that was not a good sign. Well, it plummeted down to 242.09, but then it ran up very strongly, and it became resistance level. In fact, this is what I normally do. I say resistance, a green line, make a Chapman wave inside, track a repellent line, and you know exactly what your parameters are. If it can't break above, there we go. If it can't break above this trend line, and then turn it into support, that becomes a repellent zone. That becomes the pattern that we talk about, the dreaded H, the lowercase h. Well, lo and behold, today it opens at 255.31, down from yesterday's high. And then it plummets down to the 247.43 level. And now it's coming back a little bit. But I think that this is the areas that I'm worried about, that the chips, and we'll find out from Apple tomorrow, that in fact there is a shortage of chips because everybody who had hoarded maybe has kind of used up their lot, and now they're waiting for new chips. I don't know which sectors are the most vulnerable. I certainly know that the automobile sector is really hurting. A lot of companies are saying they just can't get the cars out for 2022. In fact, some of them think that it'll be 2023 that the 2022 model year the cars come out. So I don't know. All I'm saying is that I think that's one area. The chips is one area. The COVID variant, because it's going to force people to reconsider I mean, that's the reason why jets, which we've been following really closely, is not really breaking to the upside. That's the U.S. Global Jets ETF. At this particular point, you'd think that the jets, this particular sector would be not at 23.26, but somewhere in the 24.50, 25.20 area, because sure, a lot of people are going to start talking about getting out. Well, if that kind of gets held back, that's a problem. The other is we don't know about the interest rates, and there are other economic factors that are there. So there are a lot of crude oil, just anything can happen. So we're in this area that says the price has been going up. There are factors at the market, I call it dark news cloud cover. There are factors that the market's ignoring when it all comes together, not for one day, or like the Dow was down Monday a week ago. Monday a week ago, massive down, and that was a one-day correction, then it made a new high. So all I'm saying, there are buyers, they are buying the dip. I think that there's nowhere else to go. You don't really have a choice. I think that every program and every fund manager out there, especially those, what do they call them, financial your wealth managers. They're all telling you, you've got to be in the market. You've got to be in the market. So I suspect that there's a really good chance that somehow or other, we don't get the big pullback right now. It's going to come when we least expect it. And then it'll be a little deeper and a little longer. But people are out there wanting to buy. And one of the reasons I say that, if you look at the IAI, we're long from the day after the low of last year. But if you're looking at the IAI, the iShares Broker Dealer ETF, look at this at 102.08. It's within a point and a half of its 103.58 all-time high. The last move was this move to from peak E in the Chapman wave, potential arch formation, but also potential V-shaped breakout to the upside, holding well. This is gray leg A, peak A, then this is gray peak B. But for whatever reason, it goes to 104.20, that's a breakout. You have to consider that it's broken out of the rectangle formation in the weekly chart. So I'm just saying there are buyers out there, and it's going to take a bad news cloud cover that holds. You can't have the VIX spiral one day just off the lows and then pull back. That VIX has to start to climb. That volatility index has to be there at the end of the day at the high, like you saw here with that big follow through to that Monday low, and it went to 25.09. And I don't think you get so many in a row. I think the news right now that impacted the XLK, especially the tech sector, look at this, makes a peak G/C, doji candle, all-time high yesterday at what, about 54.60, and it pulls back sharply today. Now you've got the Chapman wave Roman candle off a high. This particular technique, another one that I'll be teaching and looking at tomorrow in great detail when I do my second webinar, is that if any point in the next day and a half, for 1.5 hours, the XLK trades under 152, there's a good chance it's going to retest today's low of 151.05 or even go lower. But if it doesn't do that, but instead we actually get into the middle of this red candle, 153.33 on the XLK, S&P Select Tech Spider Fund, hey, I think you'll be forcing people to get back in. Let me just look at my short-term charts, because that's what we like to look at. So this went to peak B. What are we looking at? We're looking at HG. Well, that went to a peak C, and now it's in leg D to the upside, another D. Let's look at the E-mini ESU 21 on the 10-minute chart. There's your peak C. It's trying for a leg D. Will it do that by the end of the day? I don't know, but let's look at our 2-minute chart and see what's going on there. Yep, it's making the rectangle formation. Remember, a rectangle can last a lot longer than your patience, and it's sitting on the 200-period moving average, trying to turn it into support. If this MACD can turn positive as the other moving averages turn positive, that'll be good. But I want to see the stochastic not at 62%, but actually at 83%, and that'll say, hey, you can get buying right into the close, because you don't want to see this drop from where it is now at 43.87 in the E-mini to S&P E-mini to the 43.74 level. If it does that, probably selling into the close. So I'll be watching that. And remember, a rectangle formation can last a lot longer than your patience. All right. So a question came up. I'm not even sure I did this. I know I did it during the break. Cintas, a stock that I've talked about for 15 more years. We actually don't own it. I don't know why we don't own it, but we haven't owned it. And it's an all-time high at 395 just the other day. It made a Chapman wave 2-bar reversal, 395.85 on the 23rd, and 395.78 the next day. So that's called Chapman wave 2-bar reversal. But it was at a B. I can't count it any other way. This, to me, looks like it wants to go to a C and a D. And if Cintas, overalls, uniforms, rentals, CTAS is a symbol, trading up 25 cents at 389.05, that's a good sign for the economy. And with high-grade oil actually rallying, I have to tell you, the reason why we wanted to go long the Dow to add to our long position this morning is somehow or other, I think we're going to try to make higher highs. Somehow, some way. Oh, look at this. Now the Dow's only down 90. Let's see what the E-mini is. Okay, E-mini's just breaking out. I'll be back in a moment. Basil, Chapman, Tiger Ignition Zone.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave! Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Hi folks, Basil Chapman here. Exactly what you're seeing live right now that I'm doing, these peak Ds and the rectangle formation, how you can use this thick moving average right here as a support or resistance level, how as soon as you get a crossover, you can go long. And look at this. This is red and leg C now in a new 2-minute chart. I don't know if we actually made that leg D in the, yeah, we are. Red and leg D in the 10-minute E-mini chart. This is what I've been talking about. This is live. This is what we'll be doing tomorrow live. I mean, look at this. Everything that I've talked about, it either works or it doesn't work, and you know the reason why. Here we've got that leg D. What's the missing thing? The Chapman Wave buy mode, the implication is it should take you from a buy signal to a buy mode, meaning that there should be at least 4 higher peaks. And if the MACD is strong, the stochastic's over 80%, and here it's at 85%, that's still a good sign. How can you get to this moving average of 43954? Well, if it holds strongly and it's able to move even just another half a point higher, it gets closer and closer. That becomes a magnet line. And look what happened before when it was a support and resistance line. That's where everything failed. Now we're getting back to it. So these are all techniques we'll be doing tomorrow. Check out the front page of TFNN. Also, you get my daily newsletter. And I had a question just a little earlier ago about some of the medical, so the scientific or the medical area. So TMO is a stock that we own. TMO, Thermo Fisher Dynamics, made a new all-time high. No, it just failed. No, it did. It made an all-time high today of 534.50. The last high was 532.57 back in 2020. Peak D, now it's gone and broken that resistance line, but it's only leg C in the weekly chart, so this is still very good action. Yeah, this is the way we look at it. We got it along just on the 22nd of June at 484. We took a little bit off at 511, and here it is at $530. So these are techniques that we use. So I want to thank Tom O'Brien for allowing me to be here. Apple comes out with earnings. We've gone through some of that. We know exactly what we're looking for in these different stocks that come out with earnings today, and Facebook tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. See you soon, and check out opening call. And have a great evening.